Hey YouTube! Yeah, so I've rearranged my room a little bit. This is in Les Studio, which is Wayne's place. We're down at Download just now. He's away dropping his daughter off somewhere, and then we're going to go and set the camps up. And yeah, so the light's going to maybe be a little bit funny. It's kind of dark in here. So I'm going to run through, while he's away, I'm going to run through some of Wayne's guitars, and I'll try and not make it so it gets really bright. I don't even know where the light switch is in here. Yeah, so this is the first one I've picked up off the wall, which has a crow on the headstock. There's actually a tag on it that says, handmade, the crow, David Lendl. Yeah, so quite an awesome looking Strat. This is apparently handmade from the start. I'm still not sure whether, how handmade is. Has he actually cut out this piece of wood, or has he bought parts? I don't know. Is it kind of, bits of it kind of look like it has actually been handmade all the way. So playing through, what's that? A Fender 85 with red knobs on it, standing behind me there. So I'm just going to quickly run through some of these. But this is a nice guitar, and I know Wayne didn't pay very much for it. Not as much as it should have been. It should easily have been a few £100, and I don't think it was. Oh, three-way switch humbucker. Quite a single coily sounding for a humbucker. Anyway, it can be not washed out. First pickup. So, Mr. David Kendall did enough of a good job on this guitar. I'm been kind of jealous of this one since he's got it. Wayne's had it a couple of years, not done any videos on it. But while he's away, I'm going to run through all the ones I can see just lying about in here. Of which there are quite a few. There's quite a few rather interesting ones as well, or from my point of view. One of them being this one. Here be a Westone ThunderII. So this has those pickups, which are, I think they're MMK 63s or something like that, which my Prestige doesn't have. That was why I got it for a reasonable price. So this is a, it's either a set neck or a through neck. It's got like the sort of scoop you would expect from a through neck. Pearl finish, crazy looking this thing, which are apparently an absolute nightmare because it's a different size from normal guitars. I don't think these are the original knobs that are brass. I don't think, but they might be. And the switches are, now can I remember what they even do? It's a volume and tone and a variable boost thing for the active circuit, because this is the 2A, 1983. Westone's the serial number, always starts with a year from this era. So it's very nice. I'm going to do another video with Wayne where we're actually going to play some of these, but just now I'm just going to point them out and look at them, do a wee quick 10-minute video. So I mean, this is awesome. It's almost exactly halfway between my Spectrum 3, which is this body shape, and my Prestige, which is this neck join, and it should be these pickups. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's very nice though, and the pearly white thing, it's just aged to perfection. It's a stunner. But while we're on the Westone subject, there's a lot of guitars in here. There's a Pantera. Oh, that's my old Pantera. This one, ooh. At the top of the range, Westone ThunderIII. This one has got quite a lot of damage on it, and I have seen this happen before. See, when these arrived damaged from Japan, rather than sell them off cheap, well, they did sell them off cheap, but they sawed the headstock off, like as a, so that you couldn't sell it for full price, sort of thing. I mean, I think Wayne paid something stupid for this, 50 quid or something stupid. It has had quite a lot of damage kicking about there, and there, and now there, and but if you look, the body's actually been split all the way through there. So it's pretty beat up, but you know, this is through neck. look at the wood on it. It's just, it could do with a good polish, to be honest. But it's kind of, we're getting almost towards Washburn wing territory of what this one looks like. And it plays fine. In fact, I can plug it into the guitar amp, it'll probably work, maybe. I would say that that's probably the active circuit, which is probably no battery in it. So it was an absolute stunner. I mean, I've seen folks selling these. Sorry for being so washed out. Just got to accept it, I'm assuming that. Actually, I'm looking for a light switch, but I don't think there is one. There must be one. Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, to be honest, it kind of feels a bit like my Westone Thunder as well, but it's just much more expensive and fancy looking. Definitely keep my eye open for one of these, but as I said, I saw one on eBay for 1,800 quid, and it's like, right, no, I'm not spending £1,800 on a bass. Never mind a Westone. What else we got sitting about that's easy to get to? There's a Burns here. I don't really know much about Burns Marquee Trisonic pickups. I think you'll find they're Resomatic pickups because they actually say Resomatic on them. So this is like a 2000s one. I can't remember what year. I think Wayne told me last night. I think it's a 2000 or 1999. So the reissue. Yeah. So these actually come with a Gilmore switch as standard on a push-pull pot there, which adds in the neck pickup. So you get, which is kind of where I stole the idea of the Gilmore switch from before I realised that it was called a Gilmore switch. It's called a Wild Dog or something in this. So this would be a Korean. Serial number starts with a 9, so it'll be a 9 Club Series. But it's a really weird headstock. It's like Aladdin's shoe, or like the turned up edge of a magic carpet or something. It just looks weird when you're playing it. But the guitar itself is pretty solid. It's bigger than a Strat. Like, it's probably only that bigger than a Strat, but it feels chunkier. The neck's quite wide. I never really... I've been saying that there was a Burns Bison bass on eBay that went the week before. And it started at 50 quid because it had all the electrics missing and stuff like that. And I was thinking, the Bison's pretty cool. It's got big super horns like this. And I completely forgot about it. It ended up going for 400. No. I was thinking, what, 100 quid? No. So again, it's another one of those ones kind of like Dan Electro, where I have no dislike for the brand at all. I quite fancy one. They're worth much more money than I think they should be, though. I mean, this was... I remember these coming out. I mean, first time I saw Burns was Supergrass. The guy in Gaz and Supergrass was playing one, and I think his was maybe an original one, and then shortly after that, early 2000s, they started, or late 90s, obviously the company got bought over by somebody who started making them again. It does say by Burns, handcrafted by Burns London. But again, it doesn't say handcrafted in London. It says by Burns London, as in Burns London's a company. They made it. Yes, they made it in Korea or China, wherever it came from. But it's pretty fancy. I didn't even look at the way it says Burns Marquee and the wee plastic bit on the top. But this is, I don't know. I know it's like this is the Hank Marvin model, or that there is a Hank Marvin model, and it's like, I remember seeing it going, oh, famous for Hank Marvin. It's like, Hank Marvin obviously plays a red Strat. He didn't play no Burns. But after a couple of years, like Apache and stuff was done on the white Strat, but if you go to anything sort of late 60s, the Shadows, they're all using matching Burns guitars because they got some deal. But everyone knows Hank plays a red Strat. Yeah, I quite like the way, see, there's gaps in the scratch plate. That's quite I quite like that. Actually, I've seen someone do that before with a Strat. You kind of cut out extra bits of extra scratch plate and stuck it on top of a Strat. It looked really good. So one of the Bucky casters will be doing that at some point. Having extra bits stuck on, like an extra bit up here, and should look pretty cool. Actually, I've got a left-handed Strat scratch plate, a couple of them for. I don't know why I've got two left-handed Strat, but they may be quite good for cutting up, putting in. I suppose could plug it in. I've only just woken up. I managed to oversleep by an hour, sleeping in Wayne's kid's bed. It was like Wayne's kid's not here. But wake up at 8:30. No problem. Woke up at 9:30 like that. Right, okay. Also bought my super. If you're ever in pound stretch and you think, oh right, good camping, I'll buy a toothbrush. I was like, oh, there's a toothbrush in a holder, in a bamboo holder. I'll buy that instead. And it's like, yes, I bought a toothbrush holder. So I'm gonna have to go buy a toothbrush somewhere else. It's just like, because I've got an awesome holder that I'll be able to use. Whatever use that's gonna be. Yeah. So this thing, as I said, the Gilmore switch is. Yeah, I don't really want. I kind of wanted Wayne to be here for doing these videos, so I'm just going to quickly rattle through what I can see lying about. But obviously, leave me alone in here for 24 hours. I'm going to play everything. It'd be great. So I do like these. These are good guitars. You've got to decide what it is you collect, though, or what kind of guitar it is you're going for. I've kind of settled myself for 80s Japan. So like those two Westones I would struggle getting rid of. What's this? Oh, this is an interesting one. This one needs work done on it, but I was showing this last night. I can get it out. Knocking it over. Here we go. Got a P Bass, a Dion made by Yamaki P Bass. This one has damage, but it's worthy of note as being this is a seriously good P Bass. You can see the neck has been cracked there, so when you adjust the truss rods, it needs serious repair. That's why Wayne managed to get it for like £100 or a couple £100 rather than being like a couple of thousand the way it should be. But this kind of reminds me of my Schecter, the best bass in the world. It could be. I mean, I was looking at this and it's like, if anyone's ever got one of these for trade, I've got this old shitty Dion bass, I'll give you £50 for it, don't worry. It's also got the epochal truss rod system here, which is basically like a universal joint, so instead of having to take the neck off to get, it's like there's a thing you stick the Allen key in and like a couple of cogs, so you can actually adjust the neck without having to take the neck off the truss rod. But on this particular one, it's been dropped really badly and it's split here. If you actually look at the neck, it kind of goes straight, whoop, at the bit where it bends. It's got a really chunky neck on it as well, which is not something you would expect to break on a maple neck. So I don't have a Dion. I will get one eventually. The one will pop up. I don't think they had a distributor in the UK, so you tend to see Dions. Canada, they seem to be more from there. But very interesting. There's a Pantera, that was mine, you don't need to see that. What about this Grant EBO, which used to actually belong to me, and I gave it to Wayne. He's done a lot of work on it. He went to, there's a guy, Danny, I want to say Gatton, but I think Danny Gatton's like a famous guitar player. Danny somebody, local luthier in Colville, has helped him sort this out, and it's actually playing much better than I thought it ever could. I basically gave it to Wayne because he likes his Grant guitars. These are the ones that were imported by a shop in Glasgow. And it's like, so the next glue down, I told him about how you make this out of tread plate. Did I even send it to him? I might have even sent him it in the post. This is actually quite a nice. This plays the way you hoped they all do. It's like, see, whenever you see basses of this era, when they've got a sort of slightly wonky looking bridge, it's like the Tesco's and the Jedsons and all that. If you can make them play like this, they'd be amazing, but they just don't. It needs somebody who really knows what they're doing to not just restore it. When I'm talking about getting it from and finish building it, that was why they were sort of cheap. But I'm really impressed with this. I was playing it last night and I was like, I was like, it's pretty shit. That was why I gave it to you. But no, actually, it works really well. I don't see there's plenty of others. I'm going to take out this acoustic bass, which unfortunately I kind of said I was going to buy, and this was I was drunk. It was like, you still got that acoustic bass? I was really happy. Yeah, totally. He's like, you want to buy it? And I was like, this is the best acoustic bass I've ever played. Right? Is this the right bag? All right. I had a wee shot of it last year. The thing is an absolute monster. Jesus, look at the size. Look at the size of this, and that is the secret of an acoustic bass. It's massive, but that's why it sounds proper. Like, you could play this one along with someone playing an acoustic guitar. Every other acoustic bass I had are like one of those wee small-bodied ones. This one's like a foot thick and absolutely massive. You can't even get it in shot. It's a Dean. I mean, this was my thinking about what I was going to basically buy it and use it for my download bass, but look at the size of it. It's absolutely huge. Model number EABCBK, made in China. It's probably quite new. Serial number WS1006, maybe 2010. It is electro, but this is what acoustic basses should be. Well, every time I've had one, it's always like, yeah, great idea of an acoustic bass. He still needs an amp, and it's like, the way I'm looking at it, if you still need an amp, then it's not really an acoustic bass, is it? You might as well just take a normal bass. Or when I got the hold of the red tenor bass, that with a wee amp. It's really the lighting here is terrible for this camera, isn't it? I go closer to it. Not really. Obviously my hair's in special mode. But I'm totally tempted to buy this because it plays really, really well. It's just like, you're like, why do I want an acoustic bass? And it's like, I would never use it. I would never find a position to use it unless it was. They are good for when you're sitting playing watching the telly and stuff, because you don't need an amp to plug it in. It's got that. But yeah. So basically, the best acoustic bass in the world. If you're wanting the best acoustic bass in the world, give Wayne a contact at Guitar Karma. You will sell it, seeing as I kind of said I was going to buy it, and then sort of felt saying again. Now I'm kind of feeling guilty. Now I'm actually sitting like happy. I can see why, because it's really good. It's a superb acoustic bass. I know one Scott actually says on the inside the best acoustic bass in the world, but it's lying, because this is. And I think obviously build quality is part of it, but just size, massive body, super thick. It's loud enough to play along with an acoustic. Probably not an acoustic if you get someone absolutely battering the acoustic. This just reminds me of when I was in my band, The Blind Dog, and Chris, the keyboard player, used to had an acoustic bass, and I remember going for a jam out up the hills, and he had his only way of playing the guitar was to absolutely batter it as loud as he could. And it's like, well, if you're going to play like that, I can't really play the bass, because I'm sitting there like trying to get some sound over somebody, and it was like, oh no, okay, I'll play a bit quieter. And you're like, can you just kind of yeah. One of the reasons I fell out with Chris, I thought it's not a big thing though. Yeah. So love this. So I'm going to leave this just now, and I'm hopefully there's a guitar outside which I want to do a proper. If I just go and get it just now. I'll go and get it just now in case, because I don't know how many of these videos are actually, well, this one's going out, but it might not have time. I don't want to miss this next one, so if you just bear with me 2 seconds, I will be back in. Oh. Know what this is? Oh, now you know it's a Washburn HM5V. This is in the... I can't even remember what the video's called. The one, Robert Palmer. Robert Palmer? Where he's got the girls standing behind him. One of them was playing this, all dressed in black, and he's wearing a white suit. Playing one of these. This is the first I've ever seen one. I saw it literally... Oh, it's tiny. Oh, it's amazing. It's so small. It really is. I mean, I've been after one of these for years, but you don't really get them in the UK. I think you get them in America a little bit. This is kind of 85. And at this era, it seems that the distributor of Washburn didn't really do the UK. So there's this, so there's a Flying V. In fact, does Wayne not even have a Flying V? He might even have a Flying V one as well. Or the sort of strange Washburns. The Washburns, the ones I've got, are the ones that we tend to get over here, which are kind of up to 83. And then they go away. So this is just... It's kind of... It's much smaller than my Westone Raider. It's quite similar, but I'm pretty sure the Westone Raider comes out to here and goes out to here. It's just that there's very little of it. It's also, you never see these things in photos, but it's really contoured, which makes it feel much smaller. I mean, to talk about a stage guitar, this is a total stage beast. It's amazing. It's got the Bandmaster trem on it with a wee extra bit I've never seen before. Does this lock up or something? There's a wee bit there. You can see it. There's a wee bit. See here. There's a something. Obviously the bar goes in there, but there's clearly something going on. I think this might lock. You might be able to pull this lever and it locks it as a hardtail or something, maybe. I can't think of anything. It's not a drop tuner. Don't know. But don't be put off with these bridges. These, if you see these on a lot of guitars, ones that look like this, they're absolute crap. This will be a Japanese one, so this one will be made of metal, so it won't crumble, but it's a similar shape. I think what happened is Westone didn't patent the shape of the bridge, so other people copied it, whereas obviously you couldn't copy a Floyd Rose. And you just see so many guitars, Encores and BC Rich, and many other Marlins from this era, sort of late 80s, that have a bridge that looks like this, but the block in the back it's a really complicated block. It's not just like a block on a strap where it's just like, you know, like a block with 3 screw holes in it. It's got like grooves and stuff in it, and because it's made of the shittest metal possible, it's kind of like Weetabix. It just, there's lots of weak points and they just crumble. It's a nightmare trying to replace that. Oh, that's Wayne back already. So I'll call this for the first video, and we will do more coming up soon. Rock on.